A caravan life, no 2 days the same. When shadows grow long and the frost has begun, we spread out our wings and we follow the sun. So ask not where our roots might be. They're carried in love, they're carried in we. For home's not a place, it's the life we've begun. Together forever, chasing the sun.
Hello and welcome home. Welcome to our Airbnb, our home for 2 weeks. We are really excited to share with you what happened this week because I think this was the craziest week of the whole trip. So give this live stream a like because we need every single bit of support we can get. We've had the worst week ever, and today was one of the worst days ever. But we are still kicking. All well that ends well. But honestly, this one day, it was like a disaster after disaster after disaster. Paul, hello, good evening. Englishman watching from Frankfurt, Germany. It was -8 last night here. What was the temperature where you are? Hi, Paul. The temperature, to be honest, first thing in the morning, it's not as cold as -8, but it is quite chilly. However, around midday, we have, on a sunny day, it could be anything between 15 to 20 plus. And so the weather in Spain, hello Maciek, is in winter that evenings and mornings are pretty chilly, but around midday, let's say from 10 o'clock till 4 o'clock, you could go to the beach and you could wear shorts and t-shirt. And this is the reason we are here. Marek, Freedom Seekers, evening everyone. Marek is officially the hero of the day. Yeah. But let's begin. Officially, this is our second live stream in the new year. It's already 11th of Jan, and we will blink, and it will be mid-Jan, and we will blink again. It will be Feb. How are those first weeks of New Year for you guys? How are you doing? And how are you doing with this weather? The weather is extreme, and we are watching the news, and we are following weather updates in the UK. And in Poland, and we're just so glad that we are not there in either of those countries, because the storms in the UK have been absolutely crazy. In fact, we've heard of so many fallen trees, and there was a horrific accident in Cornwall with one casualty, one fatality. A man who was in a caravan died after a tree fell on his caravan. And we survived so many winter storms in the UK. And this is one of the big reasons why we are not in the UK right now, because simply it's not fun to live in a caravan in winter in the UK. MacBook Boy 2, hello, it's Carl and Emily. We are 2 weeks away from collecting our 5th wheel. Hello, guys. So this is the excitement is on. Congratulations. We hope you do a video on tips and tricks for getting to Spain cheap or UK meetup. Come on, you're getting a 5th wheel and you want a cheap stay in Spain? Oh yeah, definitely, there will be content about that. Marek, hope you are doing well. Grab a drink and get comfy. Hello via Carmel and welcome. How are you today? How was your Sunday? Yes, so last week we were doing a live stream from El Portus. We stayed there for 2 weeks. And we had a lovely time there, a beautiful campsite with a private beach in a nice setting. It was busy. It was pretty packed because it was the Christmas and New Year time. But it was nice. It was really good. We really enjoyed our time there. So the adventures began once we left El Portus. We booked this campsite near El Campello because now we are in the house near El Campello, near Alicante. And don't worry, this was all planned. We don't have any major drama to share or major emergency, luckily, thank you. We are not giving up on our touring, it's simply a break. But I will tell you all about it when I get to this bit. So we've had the craziest week because on Monday we were moving this lovely campsite, we're moving from this lovely campsite. And we are always laughing that changing a site in Spain, it is like playing a Russian roulette after a few drinks with very rough crowd, I would say. So this is kind of an impression we get when we go to a new site because we honestly never know what's going to happen. So we turned up at this campsite. The gate was closed, the reception was closed. It was more like a park for motorhomes, a very simple campsite. So we turned up. MacBook Boy, also is Marek, sorry, wrong spelling, will be on more videos. I noticed your first videos, he featured a lot. He seems the unsung hero of making the behind the scenes work. He absolutely is. He absolutely is, but he chooses not to be in front of the camera. He definitely prefers the other side, but he is a power horse of this channel, and if it wasn't for Marek, we wouldn't share anything with the world, that's for sure. So you could give a thumb up for Marek in the chat, everyone. Wujek Carmel. The weather is nice, but it's cold because of the wind. I just watched ski jumping. Ooh, and how is your training? Are you training yourself? So, going back to the campsite, and unfortunately we were too stressed and too angry to film what happened, but we honestly need a third person who would be a camera operator, because when these juicy things happen, when drama is high, when emotions and tempers are flying, it would make a fantastic content, but I'm simply unable to film it as it's happening because these are things you can't predict. So imagine we left this lovely campsite, we turned up at the new site, everything is lovely. The guy, actually the owner, finished his lunch earlier to book us in. He came to see us and we were ready to roll in, and park up on our pitch. And then he asked, oh, by the way, do you need a hookup? Because we have a problem with electricity. We've had a problem for a while, and now we are using a generator, but we are turning it off at 8 o'clock in the evening. So there's no electricity whatsoever between 8 o'clock in the evening and 8 o'clock in the morning. Would that be a problem for you guys? Yes, it would be a problem for us because we rely on electricity for our heating, cooking, everything. We have one gas cylinder we took from the UK. This is our emergency gas supply for a power blackout, for emergencies, in case we get stranded on our way back in winter. So luckily, he returned our money. We said we can't stay. If we knew, we wouldn't come. Of course, no one let us know beforehand, so they told us they have no electrics when we turned up. So very quickly I started searching for a new site which could take us on the same day, and it's pretty much impossible because we are now on Costa Blanca, we are near Alicante. This is a super popular area with caravanners and campers, and every single decent campsite is full. So we found something that we wouldn't choose normally, but this was the only site in the area which still had pitches on the day, ad hoc. It turned out to be one of the biggest sites in Spain. So we spent 6 days on a massive site, which I filmed for you, so there will be a video. So we spent the last 6 days on a site which had over 1,000 pitches, and it was in fact a campsite village with its own infrastructure. It was like a town. It was like a town or a village. Well, I used to live in smaller villages than this campsite. So we spent the last week there. So this was it was all right. It was good. It was good. And talking about fifth wheel MacBook Boy, I've never seen so many fifth wheels, so many beautiful RVs, and it was a pleasure to just walk around the campsite and see what's possible and what kind of gear people have. It was pretty mind-blowing. We've never been to a caravan show or an RV show, but we've just had one at this campsite, at this last campsite we've been to. So all in all, we had a good time there until this morning when we had to leave and we realized, oh, there was a breakdown. There was a breakdown as we were there. Our battery charger packed up, so we had no charging for our leisure battery, but we improvised and we fixed it. And of course, this morning, when we had literally like 20 minutes to leave our pitch, we realized that one of our movers is not working. The pitch was tight, so it was really hard to get out. But Marek managed somehow with just one wheel, you know, turning on the caravan. And as he was leaving, as he was towing the van out, of course there was a lamp post, and we were literally praying that we will have enough clearance, and we probably had that much. So this was this morning, before we came to this house. And this was planned. We've been planning the house holiday for months, because I think we started booking Airbnbs back in September. So we knew that during this trip we will want to have a break from a caravan, and we always spent at least 2 weeks of January we spent with our parents, because we love to be away for Christmas. We always catch up with them after Christmas, and it's usually the second half of Jan. So for a few years now we've been traveling together with parents and taking them or taking each other on a nice family holiday. So that's what's happening now. So we will stay in this house for 2 weeks. MacBook Boy, do you ever fear a breakdown? Of course we do. As we had an XF and I don't want to even read that your car broke down. What do you do to prepare for this situation? Well, the breakdown is never far away. And you may not know it, but before we bought a touring caravan, we used to own a motorhome, a 1990 Fiat Ducato motorhome. So breakdowns, this is our middle name. So the way we manage it, we have an insurance. We make sure that our car insurance includes a cover in Europe. And in fact, we've been very lucky this time, because with our standard Euro cover breakdown, you get 90 days per year. And we used most of those 90 days when we were in Poland. But luckily, we had to renew our insurance last week. So now we have another 90 days with a different cover, with a different company. So always have an insurance and always have a plan B. So, our plan B, so we have insurance, but of course there could be emergencies. So we have contacts of the guy, in fact he's following us on Facebook, who does transport. He transports caravans between UK and Spain. So this is plan B. And you know, for the car it's an insurance breakdown, but you have to be prepared. And above all, you have to have a budget for emergency breakdowns, repairs, hotel stays. Yeah, we've been there before with our motorhome. So of course things happen. So for major breakdowns, insurance and money, I would say, and a plan how to get back home and how to get your caravan back home, or how to scrap your caravan abroad. We have an older caravan, so this is a bit easier. And with smaller breakdowns, probably I don't think we had a week without something breaking in a caravan. And we live in a caravan, and we tour it, so it gets quite a lot of, bashing. This is a 2010 Caravan, and today we discovered that the mover, one of the movers is not working, but luckily it's so simple that we can fix it ourselves. We just didn't have time to do it today, but if we discovered it earlier, we could have repaired it and leave the pitch comfortably, and we would be fine. But we had a really stressful morning because of this mover today. It's all part of the adventure, but when things break, and especially when you have to be somewhere, because touring with a caravan, it involves a lot more planning than traveling in a camper van or a motorhome. So it is pretty stressful. To be honest, I hate moving days. Whenever we have to move the site, whenever we have to pack up, I know we'll have a bad day. Or at least a bad morning. But I bet once all this trip is over, these stressful, horrible mornings will be... these mornings will make the best stories to share. I don't know, maybe towards the end of this trip we will learn to chill, and we will not get, annoyed and frustrated when something breaks or something is not working. For now we are learning. It's a big lesson of patience, and we are enjoying being in the house. And luckily the owner let us park in front of the house. There is a driveway, so we may be able to park our caravan even closer to home, but it is a quiet estate. We feel pretty alright about leaving it on the street, but of course there is a wheel clamp and a few security devices. But we simply ran out of steam to move the caravan today. So this is the house. The house has 4 bedrooms, and there will be 5 of us sharing it for 2 weeks. So the parents are flying over tomorrow from snowy Poland and from wet England. So they are really looking forward to being here in sunny Spain. However, I have to say that this winter is extreme, and it was pretty cold up until now, and it's much colder. This winter feels much colder than the previous winters we spent in Spain. But this year is just awful for weather, isn't it? In whatever country you think of, the weather is quite extreme. But so far it's been alright, and it's sunny. It's colder, but it is dry and it's sunny, and for us that's what's the most important. Marek, drop your questions in the chat. We'll try to answer as many as we can. Yes, so if you have any questions about Airbnbs in Spain and why we chose to stay in a house, some people may feel a bit disappointed. How dare they leave their caravan? And it feels like cheating maybe. But come on guys, we live in a caravan for most of the year. We've been touring for the last month, over a month and a half. So if you thought living in a caravan is a challenge, it's not. Touring with a caravan is a challenge. So we jumped at this opportunity, and we thought, oh, let's invite the parents, let's relax a little bit. Let's have a massive washing. So I will be washing. We have a washing machine. I'm really excited about having our own washing machine. So we will have an opportunity to rest, relax, reset our caravan, give it a good spring clean in and out, wash everything, wash our clothes and bedding and blankets. So it will be nice I bet it will be lovely to return to a caravan and return to the road and all the excitements and challenges of touring, which today I have to say I'm pretty tired of the excitement and changes and surprises. But I bet that after 2 weeks here I will be itching to go and discover new places, because as Marek said, this week definitely taught us a few lessons. We still have to digest them. and, you know, reflect on them. But I think the main lesson of this week, and I don't know, Marek, if you would agree, is to not have any expectations in general. Just keep your mind open and see what's coming, and, you know, don't have too many expectations, or preferably don't have any expectations at all. Cheers to that. Which doesn't mean, you know, give up all the hope. I think it's okay to hope for good things, but especially in a longer trip, not every day is like plain sailing, or it's just highs. We've had some wonderful highs, but we've had a few lows as well this week. MacBook, if it's not a personal question, how do you make an income when you are not wardens? I thought you didn't know that we work as campsite wardens. Or do you save for your holidays abroad? Yes, option 2, my dear. We have sold the house, so I will work as a class 1 HGV driver wherever we go. This is lovely. This is a lovely idea, and if we had better eyesight between us, we would do the same. We wanted, this was one of our life dreams, to drive lorry together, you know, around the world and live in a lorry. We ended up in a caravan, which is pretty close, isn't it? Paul, what is your preferred way to make coffee on your travels? Is decent coffee important to you? I actually included it in one of our vlogs, and you may be disappointed, Paul, because you may be thinking that we have some super smart minimalist kit for making coffee. We have a coffee machine and we use capsules. We use those pods. I'm a bit embarrassed to admit, but we carry with us a small coffee machine, and it lives in the awning, and it's one of the reasons we pitch up an awning. But I will talk about this, and I will talk about importance. Actually, I will talk about importance of taking your favorite coffee making kit with you wherever you go. I made a video about that. So it's not as stupid as it seems. So that's a short answer, but a full answer will be included in a special vlog, and the vlog's title is How Much is Too Much. So I think you will enjoy watching this one, Paul. So MacBook Boy, yeah, we use our savings. We finished work back in September, so we finished being paid back in September. And this trip and this winter break is possible because we've been saving not only throughout the last year, but for a few years before that. But our aim is always not to spend everything in winter. It would be a disaster, and it would be a complete nonsense to, you know, work as a warden for a season and then clear your account in winter and start all over again with zero the next season. So we really try not to do that. And remember, before our short romance with our last campsite, we were working on the same campsite for 5 years, and then without a break, we worked as private staff for 6 months, and the pay was pretty good then. Not as good to stay there forever, but yeah, we managed to save a bit because this is what freedom is for us. Freedom is built on a nice basis, you know, and it is financial. You have to have a backup, but then you can't rely on your savings. You have to replenish your savings one way or another. So that's why we work as campsite wardens. So when I hear the stories, oh, we sold our house and now we are going traveling, I know it's lovely, but sooner or later money will run out, and there is no money. Whatever amount of money you have, you will spend it. Simple as that. So I hope that those people who share those stories, oh, we sold everything and now we bought a motorhome and we travel, I always wish them that they sold just one of their properties. But I like your plan, you know, working, because things happen on the road. Like we talked about breakdowns, and whatever vehicle you buy, whatever tow vehicle you have, caravan, motorhome, RV, they do age and they will need service, repairs, and they also lose value over the time, unfortunately. MacBook Boy, have you ever wondered if you're overweight with your caravan, so towing more than 3.5 tons when you have stored things in there? We wondered. We have an idea of how much our stuff weigh after our caravan, after our motorhome trips, because we used to weigh our motorhome. It was a bit easier than weighing our caravan. And I remember, this is a good story. Before we left the UK and before we started our first road trip around Europe with our motorhome, we took it to the scrapyard because they had weight there. We could weigh our motorhome on the scrapyard in Plymouth. So we pulled over and the guys are asking, oh, have you come to scrap your motorhome? I said, no, we only came to weigh it and we are taking it to Europe. And we did. In fact, we did it twice. And then we sold it after a few years. And this motorhome is still running because we checked MOT and it still has an MOT and someone still drives it. Yeah, a motorhome which this year will be exactly 35 years old. Oh, Paul, do you prefer to have a motorhome or caravan? For living on a campsite, definitely a caravan. For traveling, a motorhome or even a camper van. No, a motorhome. We are quite fussy, and we look at those small camper vans. Of course, they have their pros, they have their advantages, but for longer trips, we simply need to stand up in the vehicle. This is the first thing, and we need a toilet, we need a shower, and we need a decent bed, or at least a half decent bed. But we started our adventures with caravanning in a car. We had a 7-seater minivan, and with a mattress on the floor, with a tiny gas stove, with a few hot water bottles and a few pots of instant noodles. And that's how we started our adventure with caravanning back in 2016, I think, maybe 14. So we can do it simply as well, but our preference definitely for traveling the way we like, it's a motorhome, definitely. And whenever we hit the caravan, whenever we have to pack everything up, pack the gear, clear ourselves from the pitch, we are thinking, oh, we wish we had a motorhome again. But when we need to go shopping or when we go sightseeing, we are so happy that we can leave our RV, we can leave our caravan, we can leave our base on the campsite, get in a car and drive wherever we like. Because simply, this is the biggest disadvantage of traveling in a motorhome, that it's tricky. Sometimes access is a problem. And when I was looking at those beautiful RVs on the last campsite, like over 3.5 tons, obviously, those massive lorries or those massive coaches converted into motorhomes, I was thinking, this must be really comfortable. But hey, how much money they spend on fuel? How do they find sites with bitches which are big enough? And unless you have a tow car or a scooter on your, on the rack, you are pretty much grounded. But come on, people who have those sizes, those kinds of RVs, they have they usually they have another vehicle to stay mobile. So there is no perfect solution, but we also notice that people who stay on campsites, it's a completely different crowd to people doing stealth camping in camper vans and, you know, just roughing it in those wild spots. It's a completely different crowd. It's interesting. It's definitely interesting. So we are happy and we are pleased that we could experience both, because we've never did touring before. Yeah, I think, Marek, we forget about that this is actually our first touring trip. We love living in a caravan and we are comfortable with living in a caravan. But maybe we are a bit too hard on ourselves, Marek. And the fact that Marek is towing on his own, because he doesn't trust me with my towing skills, with my non-existent towing skills. But you know, we are getting through. So, and I think all in all, it is a nice experience, and we are happy we did it. We are happy we are doing it. But it's not a holiday. So people and I met so many, even on this trip, I met so many people who say, oh, once we retire, we will buy a motorhome or we'll buy a caravan and we will go traveling. And I think you will not have energy for this, guys. I think, however, on the last campsite, most of the campers were, you know, they were pensioners. But they were really fit pensioners, they were healthy pensioners. They were guys, you know, doing jogging every day, cycling, they kept active. So I would say that they were not, say, average pensioners. They were people who looked after themselves before, so now they are able to do it. They are able to travel with their RVs or caravans because they are fit. They are healthy. They are still young. They are probably more energetic. I've seen many people who are, you know, much older than me, but they were more energetic than I am, and they were fitter than I am. Okay, guys. So here was the update. We made it safely to a beautiful home, our beautiful Airbnb. So for now we will be enjoying some family time, but don't worry, we made plenty of videos, so there will be a new video for you every Wednesday. And as usual, I will see you during the live stream next Sunday, same time as today. So thank you very much for your company, thank you for your messages in the chat, thank you for your questions. Have a lovely week. And don't forget to check out our Facebook and Instagram for updates. We publish a little update for you every day. We share a photo and we share a post saying what we do, where we are, what we are up to. Thank you for coming today. Bye.
Faces, some we love and some we don't. Will we ever settle down? You know we probably won't. When things go wrong or something breaks, we find out exactly what it is it takes to live in the moment, to hike and to run, to be outside the second we see the golden sun. 3 months of no rushing, just me and you. When we're lost or we're broken, our love pulls us through. Oh, it's a Spanish adventure, a crazy little scheme. So in our tiny house and living out the dream. From the oranges and olives to the dust and the rain, we wouldn't trade a second, no, we do it all again. Move it every week or two, find a brand new view. We're the freedom seekers and we're bringing it to you. So come and join the crew.